Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Speedify Live Office Hours. I'm Alex. This is Mike.
Hey.
We are here to help you. So, you take the old keyboard and you type comments wherever you're watching this, as long as where you're watching this is YouTube or Twitch. You put in comments and you click enter and they go to us and then we can respond to you. Maybe even answer. Who knows? So give us a follow, smash the like button, whatever it is you see wherever you're watching this. We do appreciate it. Back to Wednesdays, we had that one weird off by a Friday, but we are back to Wednesday, so this is the time. We'll be back next week.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Kendrew says, awesome. Greetings. Good to see you, man. Yep. You click, you don't double click. All right. So what is up with Speedify 16.3? That's the latest release, right?
We have some great new features. I mean, it's been requested, so pair and share. You as a host can now set your own rate limits. Before, Speedify would default give you a maximum 10 megabit speeds, but now you can configure it to lower speeds or unlimited speeds. Yep. So that's a great capability. Next, we have.
So it's set on the phone, by the way.
Yep.
The phone that's sharing cellular, it now has, in its pair and share settings, the limit there that it can set to share unlimited.
Right, yeah, so go into your pair and share menu, go to your share settings, and there you as, your host device can set the limit. And that applies to all the clients coming in. So second, we also released custom firewall rules. While this was available in the CLI, it's now available in the user interface. And what that's going to do is allow you to set domains, ports, or IP addresses as blocked by Speedify. So if you do not want connections incoming from one of those, from a foreign place, a different domain, we're going to stop that, and we're not going to allow it to go into your machine.
So here we go. Speedify, there's a new firewall, and here you can add ports, you can add IP addresses, you can enter domains. You pop those in there, and then you can't talk to those anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So some people wanted to not talk to various computers. So now there's an easy way you can say UDP or TCP and straight up block yourself from being able to access some sites. What else? There was a fix for wildly inaccurate clocks. Namely the one on the GLINet Barrel AX.
Popular router, yeah.
A very popular router whose course clock was plus or minus 10 milliseconds.
Whoa.
So, it turns out Speedify needs clocks accurate to 1 millisecond, right? You think about it. We're dealing with latencies. A good internet connection might have 7 milliseconds. A mediocre one might have 50 milliseconds. A bad one might have 200, 500 milliseconds of latency. Us being off by a quarter of a millisecond is not going to affect anything. But being off by 10 milliseconds, we start seeing packets arrive before we send them and stuff when a clock's that inaccurate. So fixed. We now actually ask about the clock accuracy on Linux, and if it's worse than a millisecond, then we ask for the high accuracy clock.
Nice.
So anyway, so weird things you might have been seeing on certain, budget routers are probably fixed now. So can you say anything about what's coming next in Speedify?
Sure, if I'm allowed to. This is great. So 16.3, two gigantic features, a great big bug fix. 16.4, I want to say. Yeah. We have what's coming as, the name might change, but secondary threshold, where you can actually set the threshold in which the secondary connection gets put into play. So basically, right now, I think it's at 30 megabits per second.
30.
So if your Wi-Fi is at least 30 megabits per second, we're not going to use a secondary connection.
So I've been thinking about calling this the target speed. The name is the hardest part,
right?
It is. So if you have a primary connection, you're plugged into your cable modem, and then you have secondary connection like your cellular, and as I always say, if you make it cellular, saying you can use it for a speed boost if my main connection isn't fast enough or if my main connection isn't working. But what is not fast enough?
Right.
The answer right now is 30 megabits.
Yeah, we took that away from you, but now we're giving it back.
But now we'll give it back because especially on routers, various people have stories like if it can't get 50 megabits, I'm out of business, or maybe they only need 10 megabits.
Yeah,
and so being able to adjust that threshold, right, and as you know, so as you bring it lower, the cellular will kick in less often, and you'll use less cellular. And as you push it higher, Speedify gets more and more willing to use the cellular.
And part of that setting, there's a secondary setting, priority thresholds. So we take your priority packets, and you could actually adjust the threshold on them as well.
Right.
So the user interface is becoming a really good fine-grained tool if you want really fast, reliable internet the way you want it. So that's nice.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So we're also still not quite ready to announce, but we're working on awesome new software for this bad boy. I mean, that said, you can buy it right now. The Miri X510. This is a router by our friends at Miri that comes with Speedify on it. Solid aluminum case. But more importantly, 4 Ethernets, any of which can be in or out. A 4x4 MIMO 5G card. A 2x2 MIMO 4G card. And a 2x2 2.4 and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. Then on the front, you've got 2 more USB ports, so you can tether 2 more cellular connections for cell phones. It's got a touch screen. It runs on NPF batteries. It only needs 1 battery. So you can hot swap, right? You have 1 battery, and when it's getting low, you put in the other battery, and then you take off that one, put it on a charger. Now you can go all day long. So fantastic machine. You know, this is what Mr. Beast used when he did the blowing up Kai Cenat's house live stream. You know, because they didn't let him blow up Kai Cenat's real house. They built a duplicate, fake version of his house in the middle of an empty field where the fire marshal said they were safely far enough from everywhere else that he was okay with them blowing the house up. But that meant they were far away from any internet connections. So they put together a whole series of weak cellular connections and Starlink connections running through one of these bad boys, and didn't drop a packet.
That's crazy.
You know, was it a 90-minute?
And that's a one-time thing. Once it blows up, it's done. Yeah.
And then they blew it up. These actual streaming is sort of interesting. They had hundreds of pounds of fireworks.
Oh.
And the computer streaming it was sitting right there in front of them.
Wow. All right.
And then they had an Ethernet cable coming off it, running 300 feet out of the house into the field where this guy and the Starlink were sitting. So it didn't get destroyed, but the computer doing live, it was actually blown to pieces, right? The stream ended because the stream ended. All right. I'm Scott Sweeney says, good morning, gentlemen. We are a storm chasing team for 2026. We are updating our tech. One update is going to be bonding. Will a private server have the bandwidth to support 4 to 5 streams at once? Yes. So you got 2 choices on a private server. You can get one we can host for you. We make sure that we have at least a gigabit for you. In practice, it's actually higher. I think most of them are 1.5 gigabits these days.
That's pretty good.
But you know, we tell you have a gigabit. So, so I'm guessing a storm chaser. You're probably, I don't know. Is it 50 megabits each for each of the 5? You know, that's probably on the high end. But you know, there's stuff going on. Yeah, you'll be good. Dedicated server will be good. The other option is we now have self-hosted dedicated servers. I think they might technically still be a beta.
For now.
Yeah. But I can't imagine that we're more than a week or 2 away from calling this thing done. I think
they seem great so far.
I think,
we're just ironing it out.
People are happy.
Yeah.
Keep making little improvements, but then, you know, then you have to deal with hosting it, which depending on your setup Might be better, might be worse.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if
You're the guarantee.
if you're already hosting all these video servers, it might be easier for you to throw one more in front of them with the bonding.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can let us take care of it. All good with us. Strawberry Kitten.
Hey.
throws compliments at us, and we appreciate that. All right. Yeah, that'd be fine. That'd be fine. You know, try to get a server near, 20 per person. That'd be 5. But yeah, you'll be fine,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. 100 megabits. Try to get it kind of close to the area where you're streaming from. Reduce latency and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be great. It'll be great. All right. No problem. All right. Quiet day. You guys are...
Thanks, Strawberry.
Thanks, Strawberry. we took it that way. At least I did.
Sure, yeah.
Mike here still thinks he's cool.
I think it depends on the tone. That's all. He's exclamation pointing us. That's all right.
All right. So let's talk about something different.
Sure.
While we wait for the crowd to attack Speedify questions.
Absolutely.
Speedify's working too well, right?
I'm scared how well
it's complain about how it's not working. Now it's working for everybody.
Yeah.
It's boring.
It's a weird thing to look
I'll
at.
check some code in later today. Fix that problem.
Yeah, future bugs to deal with. It's all right.
We won't get into this now, but I've created a branch of the Speedify code where I have changed tens of thousands of lines.
Yep.
And no one knows what to do about it.
We're drawing straws.
It can't stop me. But luckily, I can't merge to the main branch unless someone else approves it. So Venezuela. So Venezuela has a bunch of China's JY-27A mobile radars, right? These are the ones that Beijing says are the top of the line. They say these ones can, spot American stealth fighters, the F-22 and the F-35 from over 150 miles away. But it appears they didn't work at all during the raid. It appears that somehow the U.S. simply shut down these top-of-the-line newest Chinese radar. It got me curious. Are you curious?
I thought it was a pretty amazing feat to see two contradicting thoughts, but the way we just went in and handled, I wouldn't say we, the way the United States just went in and handled business that quick, it's impressive.
So how'd they do it? How'd they shut down the radars, Mike?
Yeah, so the United States uses the Boeing EA-18G Growler, which is basically a copycat of the F-18 Hornet. But this Growler does not carry bombs. It carries communication jammers. And what it does, basically, it employs about six antennas in total, all they could, hit any 1 to 10 bandwidths. And what they're doing is actually just focusing all their power on jamming the radars and the military communications. So, layman speaking, when the radar pops up, instead of seeing one jet, they're going to see 100 jets, and they're not going to know which one is the real one. And at the same time, they're blocking communication. So everybody on the ground is kind of, something's happening, but they can't talk to each other.
Yeah, that's interesting because radars, right? I mean, they fire off these pings and then they hear the faint reflection coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And based on that, they can figure out the speed and the distance and all these things, because if it's moving, then you shift the frequency a little bit. And if it's further away, the echo takes longer. So it's really subtle stuff.
Absolutely.
So a jammer doesn't have to destroy the radar.
Nope.
Just
has to fool the radar.
A whole bunch of pings.
Yes.
Until, it doesn't take that many, I think, and they don't even have to be that powerful.
Nope. Just enough to
sound like the radar.
Exactly.
And just give it a whole bunch of echoes for things that aren't there. Oh, that's really interesting. Because I think that's a common theme here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wireless equipment today is so delicate.
Yep.
It's doing such a fine job, right?
Mm-hmm.
To jam hundreds of megabits through Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Going hundreds of feet with 100 milliwatts. I mean, we're reaching the edges of spectral efficiency.
Yes.
right? These are signals that are, a thousandth of a watt
Yeah.
being picked up. So it's
Yes.
not that
Yes.
hard to just throw
Noise.
garbage
Yep. Exactly.
and block these things.
Yes.
Yeah, so I guess like a lot of these things, it is much easier to jam wireless than to make wireless work.
Yeah, your wireless signals are not hidden. They're in plain sight. You know what bandwidth they operate on. So all you have to do is tune your noise to that frequency and bam, that's it.
Yeah. Similar to space stuff, right? I mean, and obviously this includes their, Iran, they're jamming Starlinks
Yes,
and
they
stuff.
are.
But
yes.
one of the weird things about orbit is it takes far more power to keep a satellite in orbit than it does to get a spaceship up to that height. So these little rockets can shoot down the satellites that needed big rockets to put them up.
Yes, very
right?
easily, yes.
So yeah, a couple of years ago, India shot down one of their own satellites to prove that they were capable, right?
Okay.
And sent a bunch of junk flying. And the American reaction was, "We knew you were capable of shooting down a satellite. Please stop doing this."
Yeah,
like,
cause problems.
Like, we're not impressed. We don't need garbage in orbit.
Yeah.
Garbage in orbit brings up. Do you see Starlink? They're lowering all of their satellites.
It's too crowded at where they're at.
Yeah, so I guess it actually improves their latency a little bit. But the main thing they're saying is if something does go wrong, they talk about Kessler effects. If one of their satellites shattered into parts, it could hit the other ones. And we could end up unable to use space. Now the Starlinks are so low that if that happened,
it'll just come down
within 2-3 years. All the parts would come down. It's just above the atmosphere, really.
That's appropriate. What about the Amazon ones? Are just a little bit higher than them, right?
Yeah. So the Amazon ones are going to be a little higher.
So could that still cause that spiral effect?
It's getting crazy.
Yeah. Then what about the next company? Do you want to be in between the two now?
And the next is China's one sales, right? Or 1,000 sales. Sorry, whatever it is. So China's building their own, and people are complaining that they're being kind of sloppy. Of course. That they're leaving sections of their rocket
just hanging in space.
And like, yo, you got to bring those down.
Yeah.
We can't have pieces of metal just floating around in orbit anymore. So
sounds like there's an opening to clean space up if anybody has the idea.
Yeah. So, is it legal to jam wireless?
In the United States, it is illegal unless you're obviously the federal government.
And seriously, only the federal government.
Literally, right? Only the federal government.
The state police cannot use a jammer.
And the federal government actually jams wireless communications a lot that we're probably not aware of. At all the public rallies for, when the president, they jam the signals so cell phones can't actually do bad things. But as a consumer, it is very easy to jam a signal. I mean, we see reports of people doing it all over, but it is one of the most highly illegal things you could do in terms of technology. And it's very easy to track if you're doing it as well.
Yeah. I saw the guy in Florida.
Yeah, he was driving around in his truck, just jamming people.
He had a jammer. Yes. Just whenever he was driving, he jammed cell phones around him, and people would complain, and the FCC said they caught him, and they hit him with a $48,000 fine.
Not cheap, but I mean, you don't want people texting and driving. You see where he's coming from.
Except he probably led to people, what the hell's wrong with my phone? While driving.
Yeah.
So he probably made it worse.
Yeah.
And you saw Marriott.
As a corporation, even corporations that big are not above getting hit with fines for jamming. But the story was that they were jamming personal hotspots in the hotel to force you to purchase their Wi-Fi from them.
Yeah.
Wow.
$500,000 fine.
Wow.
Boom.
Incredible.
That was brutal.
Even in your own house, even in your own hotel, you're not allowed to do that.
All right, we're getting some questions. Let's pause for a second, go back to
Sure.
Strawberry Kitten S. Who are you guys?
Nerds.
We're I'm Alex. This is Mike. We are the guys who make Speedify, right? The bonding VPN lets you use all your internet connections at the same time, giving you faster, more reliable internet. And we put on these streams to some extent so people who need customer support can get it. Otherwise, just to chat. All right. Tom says, I use a deep Wi-Fi, and it will allow me to use it on Speedify one-on-one, but will not allow me to share the Wi-Fi network with other devices using this Wi-Fi. Is there a reason for that? I use deep Wi-Fi, and it will allow me to deeper Wi-Fi. I don't know what a deeper Wi-Fi is.
I'm not familiar, no. And share it on the operating system itself, or pair and share through Speedify?
I mean, you probably actually want to share. If Speedify will use this thing, then you probably don't want to share Speedify with the other devices.
Mm-hmm.
On a Mac, there are options to make a hotspot. On a PC, there is our Connectify hotspot software.
Yes, still very good. So yeah, if you want to share some more information,
share some more information here. Done. All right. Hey guys, one of the issues that I have most with Speedify is it seems like a lot of websites block your VPN gateway IPs, and it's difficult to put in bypasses for everything that needs it. Do you have any advice on how else to overcome this? Or is there a chance that Speedify can get a bigger bank of rotating public IPs and use multiple IPs per VPN gateway? Yes. So we are testing a pretty big overhaul here right now to do that.
Yep.
To let your web traffic go through a giant pool of rotating IPs. It should be good. It seems to be working really well on unblocking things.
Yes.
If you're using it, it makes your latency a little worse and stuff. But depending on what you're doing, that's fine, right?
Yeah, and these are coming relatively soon, but they'll be for the premium server. So if you are a subscriber of Speedify, you'll have access to these new rotating IPs.
Yep. Sounds dope. Is Speedify open source? Speedify is not open source. It's what we do. All right. Tom, we got Brian asking you questions. Chat with him. He's the guy.
Yes, he is.
He's our chief technical officer. And I appreciate him getting on this call. So back to those jammers. Let's talk about what's it. So I've seen the planes, right? I don't know if you guys have the Growler, the EA-18, right? So it's an F-18 with these giant pods that look like they could be fuel tanks or something hanging under the wings, but they're not. They're not fuel pods. They're electronic warfare pods.
Yes.
It's like, what kind of power do those things put out? How powerful are they?
So in terms of frequency ranges, I mean they can attack basically 10 bands, which covers your satellite dishes, your cell phones, your Wi-Fi connections, and your military communications. So they have the capability of hitting 10 different bands, but they have 6 antennas, so they can't just blanket every bandwidth at the same time.
I see. So is there a total amount of power they can put out?
So it looks like it's 10 kilowatts in its older version, but probably around 6, 8 in the newer version. So, they got a little bit more efficient.
Right. So a big Wi-Fi radio.
Yeah.
All those antennas will put out like 1/10 of a watt.
But what's interesting is...
So, yeah.
No, that's, yeah.
So 100,000 times what your Wi-Fi router is. Right? That's what these pods are putting out, right?
But it's not even taking away the fuel of the jet. On the back of these pods, they actually have little air turbines that spin and produce the power to power these pods just by going as fast as the jet goes. So the jet is powering its own. Yeah, so the jet is powering its own frequency jammers on the fly right there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Although, I mean, obviously, it is being powered by the jet because the jet has to go faster to make up for the extra drag. But that's interesting. So, yeah, they didn't upgrade all of the electrical.
Right. It's using its own power and, very efficient.
Oh, that's interesting. And so do you know what the frequency range is? You said 10 bands. But
right, yeah. So about 64 megahertz to about 20 gigahertz. So it covers a very large spectrum.
Right. So, cell phones are down around, 1 gig, 2 gigs. Wi-Fi is, 2 gigs to 5 gigs. The satellite stuff gets up 6, 8,
12, I think.
12
Yep.
gigs. And so that's everything.
Yeah. It has the
Right?
capabilities, yes.
I don't know of anything that, eventually you get to light and stuff that
Yeah.
we see in infrared.
Yes.
But I don't know of any radio that's really higher than that.
Not that we
They
have
were
access to.
experimenting with 60 gigahertz radios, but
Really?
they're so short ranged. I don't think anyone figured out what they could do with it.
It'd be really fast, sure. Yeah.
Speedify ties the feds. Not really, no. I don't know what you mean. So, would Speedify help if you were being jammed?
Speedify can help if you're being jammed. So there's a few scenarios where Speedify would help you. One, if you're on a wired connection, so it's very harder to jam a wired connection, and you're, say, on a cell phone. So Speedify is kind of bonding your cell phone with your wired connection, and the cellular signal gets jammed. We're going to flip you right and use your, the wire connection coming out. If you are using the Myria router and you have, your AT&T and your Verizon and you're tethering both, maybe they're trying to jam all the cell signals, but they're both partially being jammed. Maybe one's 40% degradation, the other 60. We're going to combine those to give you a more usable connection. So the failover with Speedify helps. If you're being 100% jammed by every radio that you have, obviously not, but we're here to fail over.
If you have any working path to the
Yes.
internet, we will find it.
Yes.
We will avoid the ones that don't work. But,
right.
But yeah, what are you going to do? These radios are so delicate.
Yes.
Right? Because they're so sensitive to pick up just the finest little Wi-Fi signals.
Any noise,
the longest bit of range. It just does not take much to mess with them. I give you Fed vibes. Sorry. No, I've never.
You watching Mr. Robot too much.
We're just talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
Fed vibes. Yeah, no. Somebody the other day was like, based on your vibes, man, you seem like a Penn guy. I said, fuck you. Yeah, I went to Penn. Sorry.
That's for being right.
Yeah. So I don't know. My vibes. What are you going to do? Yeah, so we're pretty excited about all this new stuff coming to Speedify. I really think we have a solution to get around these blocks, various banks and stuff, not letting you. I'm Reddit now. Reddit was blocking me today. Come on.
Yeah, Reddit is very good at detecting and blocking.
And the problem is, right, the reason they're blocking us isn't us. They don't care if you visit them through a VPN. It's that there are these AI companies scraping all their content.
Understood.
And so as soon as they see anything weird, it turns out, they start thinking it might be an AI trying to suck our content, right? And all the AIs train themselves on Reddit and seem super smart. And Reddit's probably right.
Absolutely.
To be saying we deserve a cut of this.
Yep.
We built this whole website. Now you guys are profiting off it. So that's who they're trying to cut off. There was that weird thing, right? The other day when Windows 7 suddenly surged in popularity on all the website measurement stuff.
I see that. Why is that?
Because
they're all using
Windows
AIs.
7 was suddenly 10% of the Windows users in the entire world visiting websites.
Wow.
And then they tracked it back and they discovered all of them are coming from Singapore. Right? So some AI company decided, would trick everyone into not thinking this was an AI. Wow. If it was running on Windows 7. Why would an AI company use Windows 7? So they set up a Windows 7 virtual machine, had it make the request. And that worked well. So they said, okay, do it more. And they scaled it up until 10% of the traffic hitting the web were Windows 7.
Wow.
And it stopped working so well. And then everybody
it worked too well.
Chopped them all.
That's a great story.
I'm curious about how to improve privacy on iOS with apps snitching location data. For example, I have to use Gmail for work, even with a VPN. And Pi-hole, Google is still seeing my session location. Yeah, that is getting tough because stuff like, Google, especially with their native code, they're checking all sorts of things. They're not just using your IP. In the old days, they used your IP address to see what country you're in. But now they're trying to use the GPS. They're asking for the course location.
Yeah.
They can ask the cellular provider stuff.
Even your SSID names, things like that.
Right. Yeah. So those are correctly blocked that they can't see those, right? Unless you agree to location permission.
You can read with some permissions, you can read the SSID without location permissions on iOS.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're so likely to give it to Google because they'll promise you some other feature.
Yes.
Right?
It's basically, the more you allow them to do for you, the more they're going to see of you.
Yeah.
But make sure you're using private relay on iOS. Make sure you're using VPNs. It's the best you could do. And go into your Apple settings and look at the Google apps that you're using and take those permissions away if you've given them prior.
All right. Strawberry Kid, you are so off base. Apparently, by bringing up these growler jets, we have set an image of us which is so far from reality that I seem like a Fed and you seem military.
That's first impression vibes. Yeah, I couldn't tell you what the F-18 does, but if you want to talk wireless jamming, yes, we're on to that.
I'm sorry. He's the guy who keeps track of where the best Halloween decorations are. He's the Halloween guy. Yeah, you're...
all your Halloween props?
You're really off base, Strawberry Kid. But it's cool.
It is cool. I'll
Imagine
take it.
Imagine if I was a Fed.
We make a great team. The Feds in the military. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Is any other Speedify questions? I feel like there have been really only 2 people asking Speedify questions here. We got pretty far off base. So far off base that people think we're Feds. So should we talk a little bit more about what Speedify is in the first place? Because I feel like we have some new people here.
Absolutely. So those not familiar, Speedify is a VPN channel bonding app. So what that means is Speedify intelligently spreads your traffic between connections and can seamlessly fail over if one of them disappears in the middle of a video call or a live stream. But it also does a bunch of cool stuff to optimize your performance, including prioritizing streams. You could even set your own prioritization with your traffic. You can enable redundancy on the fly. But on top of all that, Speedify at its core is a VPN, which means we encrypt all of your web traffic to improve privacy and security. So it's the VPN app that keeps you private and keeps you online.
Oh, I missed some comments here
on
base.
Cool.
Can you give me the pitch on how Speedify is better than a Peplink? I have Peplink fans voice deal with. Okay, couple things. One, I'm not sure about performance. We haven't gone head to head with them recently. We were tied, and then we made a lot of improvements and got much faster, and haven't tested again.
Okay.
So I think we're faster. No, we're certainly not slower. But the real big difference is the flexibility of Speedify. And
software.
And I'll tell you, from their point of view, they sell you a box that just comes set up, potentially even with SIM cards in it already, and you plug it in and you're bonded. It's a nice story. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
They charge you for the box. They charge you for the bonding service. They charge you a bunch of dollars per gigabyte. But you buy one box, you plug it in, it's solved. And you just are trading money
for internet. Yeah.
And hey, I'm not even bashing it, right? It works. You have a lot of money. Speedify gives you software that does the bonding, and we have all kinds of cool tricks they don't have, like the pair and share stuff. You can run Speedify on your phone and have it share to your router. So now your router can wirelessly pick up additional connections. So it's not just costing. We have features they don't have. Parent share thing is really cool. But we work on phones.
Yep.
Right? You need extra reliability on your phone. You put Speedify on there. You join the hotspot of another phone. And now you're bonding your cellular with their cellular. You're cellular bonding on a phone. iPhone,
Yes.
Android. You can do it right on your Mac. Right on your PC. Use your USB hub. Get a bunch of cellular connections to it. And you have bonded internet on a PC with no giant router device. Or, you can put it on OpenWRT. You can buy from Miri. These guys will sell you that Peplink experience.
Insane.
Right? Because they make the box. It comes with the cellular modems built in. It comes with Speedify installed. And so, you can get that same experience here.
For a one-time fixed cost. Not.
I mean, you're still paying something for the data,
True.
but it's not
like
not
that.
those rates. So that's quick. So we give you massive flexibility. We give you parent share. We give you more reasonable pricing. Them, they give you everything in one box at a higher price. Yeah. I suppose I should be meaner to my competitors, but
No. You look biased.
I'm not
They're
going to pretend it doesn't work. It does.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then David asked, wondering if I can use Speedify in a self-hosted server. Can help me connect Wi-Fi and Ethernet connected on my MacBook, increase throughput to my NAS, for example. It's possible to get very clever, but in general, the idea is that Speedify, you're sending your internet traffic to a server that then gets you out. If you're trying to connect to another device that's on the same local network, it's not quite the right tool. In fact, Speedify is generally smart enough to say, "Oh wait, you're just going to the same network. I'm not the right tool. Go around me."
Yes.
And it'll do nothing at all to your traffic.
Yes.
And make sure that we never sabotage you. But yeah, so getting to other stuff inside sort of the same house, I gotta be honest, Speedify is not going to help you much. Now, if your NAS is at your house and you're in fact, at the office trying to connect home, well, now we might be able to help.
Yes.
Put together multiple connections from the coffee shop, your office, or whatever, to get you back home, assuming you have to have a fast internet connection at home. One thing that confused some people is that, of course, if you go to a speed server, all your traffic has to go into it and back out. So if you have a 100 megabit down internet connection and 14 megabits up, and you put a speed server there, that's just a 14 megabit connection, because whether you're going up or down, at some point it has to go through that slow 14 megabits, and you're slow. So, speed servers need really fast, reliable connections to be useful. Self-host servers also need an actual IPv4 address on the internet. Okay. You can't just put them behind a net. We may have a fix for that, although it looks like, it gets tricky. In fact, there was an early version where we used stun and turn and all that crazy stuff to let you host a speed server in your house, and we would make it work almost no matter what your firewall did. But the more tricks we had to do, the slower it got. And so we'd think it was miraculous that despite your firewall and your NAT and your DSL connection, we managed to let you connect home. People would complain like,
crawling.
It's only 3 megabits.
Yeah.
Be like, no one else in the world could have made this work at all, but we put speed in our name foolishly. Speedify. And so saying, well, what do you expect? It's slow. At least we made it work. Turns out to not be an argument we can use. So
Being fast is relative.
Folks. A lot to be said for a nonsense name like Apple. All right. Questions now really coming in. All right. Working as an ambitious IT student, what specialization would you recommend to study? I'm super interested in IP over radio and doing as many classes as possible. Yeah, it's tricky. It is a weird time. AI is eating the world.
Yes, it is scary.
I was not joking about. I mean, I took the AI and had it rework 3 years worth of his code. Now he's horrified. How does he even look at it? Like, this is an actual situation we have right now. I mean, over 4 days, the AI changed tens of thousands of lines of code that he wrote over years. And, he's not even being a jerk. Like, if it's better, let's use it. But how do you even figure out if it's better given all
starting at the bottom of the mountain it's tough to look up.
Yeah. So I think to whatever extent I don't know. I think you definitely want to learn some other things.
Anything hardware related probably has a better. I don't
know. Those jobs went to China already, right? Like, they got hit first by outsourcing.
It's such a tough way that these kids are in school, and what route do you take? Well, with anything in life, I mean, whatever interests you the most, you're going to find a way to succeed at, whether you have to work with the AI in some capacity or not. But I have no strict advice for you.
Yeah. I think, knowing a lot about networking is probably good.
Yeah.
I was talking to a young man who was saying he's going hardcore in math, taking lots of math classes, thinking that if he has to bail from computer programming, the math will give him a heads up on whatever he does next. I don't know. And I'm not making a strong prediction here, just that chaos is coming, right? I mean, all these people were predicting that the first job to get whacked by AI is radiologists. All they do is look at pictures of scans and say if it has cancer, and that's a perfect job for AI. And they did it in the labs, and it worked perfectly, and they rolled it out in real hospitals, and it got everything wrong.
Wow, really? I didn't see those.
And their radiologists have turned out to be the fastest growing branch in medicine. Radiologists are making so much bank right now because
no, they really
turns out we really need them, and the attempts to replace them so far have failed. I'm not saying they never will succeed, but just like they said, ATM cards were going to cost bank tellers all their jobs, and for 30 years it didn't, and now they're losing their jobs. But there was decades between the predictions that they're going to lose their jobs.
I don't even think that was AI. I just think their banks are finally catching up with technology and choosing. But yeah.
All right. So if I put Speedify on my phone, it would bond my Wi-Fi and 5G connections. Is it the same as the Wi-Fi assist setting? Is primary difference a switchover time? So it bonds the connections. By bonds, I mean it has both active, and packet by packet, it can choose which connection send things over. So it's not just switchover time, right? If your Wi-Fi stops working, we will put the next packet on the cellular, and you can be in the middle of a download, and the download will continue on the other connection, right? With anything else, if you're in a download and your internet stops working, you have to start the download over. Mm-hmm. Speedify, it'll move the download to the other connection. Yep. It is real packet by packet bonding. Wi-Fi assist is a broken thing in iOS that just makes your iPhone stop using Wi-Fi if it doesn't think it's working. And it's been a while since I've checked it, but it was bad, right? Yeah. You take your trash out, and when you're standing at the edge of your property putting the trash out, it would say, "Oh, the Wi-Fi's bad. I'm not going to use it anymore." And then you'd go back into the house and be using cellular for the next hour, even though you were in your house. Like, it's just wrong. Wi-Fi assist is just wrong. I went to WWDC a few years ago. That's going to be quite a few years ago. And the networking group, one of the guys got up and gave a speech, and he said, a lot of you have been complaining that Wi-Fi assist isn't right. But we looked into it, and it is correct. And he just moved on. What?
You gotta love Apple.
They're just done, right?
Goodness.
And they talked about the new features they were adding to iOS. I was like, okay. So they're not working on a fix because they just simply deny there's a problem. So, Wi-Fi assist is just some weird thing that doesn't have enough information to make the right decisions, and it doesn't make the right decisions. How can Speedify work with wireless home internet? I've cut the cord with cable, and now I'm running Mint wireless home internet. Speedify seems to be running fine, and Mint is faster than cheap cable. Nice. So the thing about it is, right, I assume your Mint wireless home internet is pretty good, but probably not that reliable. I expect you will have more outages. Although, who am I to say? Comcast in this building, we had a lot of outages. And then finally we called and complained a bunch of times, and they came and rewired the whole block.
Yes.
And now it's been pretty good. But for a while there, we were having problems, and they just redid all the wiring on the city block. And finally the problems went away. So now Comcast seems pretty good to us. But it was terrible for a while. So, I see why some people say it's awful, right? You just need one bad cable somewhere in the whole city block. It's bad service.
That's
for
crazy.
Years. For years.
It's just how it is. You live with it.
Years. So anyway, so having the ability to add in other things, right? A cell phone, particularly if it's not on Mint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's huge gain from getting a second ISP, because they probably don't go out at the same time.
Yep.
Right? AT&T or Verizon or whatever that's on your phone. That probably won't go out the same. I don't remember who Mint is on. Right? They're an MVNO, a mobile virtual network operator. Mint is renting from one of the other big boys. I think it might be T-Mobile.
I thought so too, but I didn't want to make a bad connection.
A lot of them are T-Mobile. So yeah, I think you would really benefit from having one more connection, right?
Absolutely.
Just in case when it stops working,
yes,
it switches over. All right. How does Speedify work? Would the hardware not need work for this, like using both at the same time? Makes sense for new devices, but what about older devices? So Speedify is a program you run on a device. Linux, it can be Debian, OpenWRT, Windows, Mac, iOS, Android. And what it does is it asks the operating system, what network devices do you have? And it gets the list of everything the operating system thinks is a network device. Mm-hmm. And then it one by one says, please connect me on this one. Please connect me on this one. Binding connections to each of those. So it works on older devices. Now, how old, right? So on Raspberry Pi 5, which is a relatively modern device, it's a couple years old now. I don't know. I can get 900 megabits through it. And CPU is like below 20%. I think it can go multiple gigabits. I just didn't have fast enough internet, right? I gave it a 950 megabit internet connection, and it got 900 megabits, and it wasn't even getting warm. So that was cool, and that's not some super powered device. Now, Raspberry Pi 4, I was able to get about 700 megabits, and then the CPU was maxed out. And what's wrong with the Raspberry Pi 4? It didn't have hardware encryption options. Right. It doesn't have the AES hardware encryption in the CPU, which almost every device, even cheap Android phones these days, you get them. They have the AES, but apparently Raspberry Pi, they were trying to stick to that $35 budget with the Raspberry Pi 4, and didn't have hardware encryption, so we had to encrypt in software. So you capped out at like 700 megabits. You go further back to Raspberry Pi 3, 90 megabits in most cases. Sort of one scenario where you could get up to 300 megabits with no encryption and not acting like a router, just sucking down data as fast as you can. But basically 90 megabits. And the reason there turned out to be that not only did it not have encryption, it had a USB 2 bus. It only had 480 megabits in and out of the CPU to all of the devices on the board put together.
Wow.
and so there was only so much available for us.
Mhm.
So yeah, so as you get to older and older hardware, top speeds and stuff start getting affected. But Speedify doesn't take that much. Goofy Raspberry Pi 5, little computer this size you buy for $90. It can do a gigabit, so maybe that helps. Doug says so. Oh, I didn't even notice. Sorry. I addressed this comment. I didn't notice. Doug Piper. Hey, Doug. Awesome. If you guys haven't seen Doug Piper's content, well, if you have any interest in like beer, he does awesome stuff. Actually, it's been a while since I've talked to him. Last I talked to you, starting to talk about maybe getting into coffee content.
Ooh.
I would totally watch that.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Nice. All right.
Great.
Doug's saying, yeah, I'm not keeping up with the comments here. Yeah, so $30 a month he's paying. And he gets 90 megabits up and a full gig down. It seems consistent. That's good. 90 up. That's okay, right? That's the bottom of fine, right?
Mhm.
And anything lower than that, I start thinking, ugh. Are you trying to live stream? Sometimes people say a phone call sounds like I'm in a tunnel. Does it help with that? If you mean a literal phone call using the phone app, probably not. If it's a voice over IP thing, like Google Meet or Zoom, there are lots of places those problems could happen. It could be bandwidth issues making the software drop to such low bandwidth that your voice is getting messed up.
Mm-hmm.
But it also could just be a microphone problem.
Could be.
Right?
Absolutely
acoustics are a thing that we also can't help with. All right. Brian saying those are amazing speeds Doug's seeing. Yes, coffee and Amazon influencing. Yeah, I went to the Ecamm event and they were talking a lot about the Amazon influencer game.
Is it probably big?
It's a lot of work and you can make pretty good money. But it wasn't. People were saying that at the very beginning, Amazon was just like throwing money at you to do it, and now it's like a real business that you can make real money, but you really have to churn out a lot of videos. You have to get really good. So, all right, guys, it is 11 o'clock. We've been going for an hour. This is awesome. I think.
Well, before we go,
okay.
There was Speedify released a video where you were talking about Apple and Siri, and I don't know if you plugged it yet, but I got to tell you the way you describe. So if you haven't seen it, everybody go check out the Speedify's YouTube channel and check out where Alex talks about how broken Siri is, right? But the way you described how Apple can't deal with something that's not just completely tight, organized, and expected was so eye-opening that it was just phenomenal. I just want to tell you, I enjoyed the video.
So you guys should definitely check out after this, since we're about to end, our YouTube channel, Speedify, which I think more than half of you are watching on. We have a bunch of videos posted, and one that Mike's mentioning, there's the Siri is broken, Apple can't fix it. Me opining on Apple. There are a lot of other videos there too. We've been churning these things out. Talking about tech.
And they're short, they're less than a minute, I think, on most of them. And it is just, it's so insightful and it was very, very, very good.
Doug's saying, Amazon influencer is easier than YouTube. The secret is more product selection rather than volume. Yeah. Nice. Got to pick the right products. The guy I was talking to, he was reviewing everything. In fact, one of his revenue sources, right? So he said old manufacturers now, he churns out so many videos. They send him like cargo containers full of products.
Nice.
right? And then he then churns out reviews, and he does a review in 5 minutes. And then he has this warehouse full of items, and he'll sell them at almost any price, right? And so he's doing deals with eBayers and stuff to
he gets them at nothing.
Right.
Okay.
So he's getting them for nothing, and he's like that you know, that's 20% of the money he makes. But I don't know. I'm not. I just talk to some guy. I don't pretend to be an expert. Wait, what's going on? I've been on bare metal and I've been on VPS. Make sure old ports are good. Log show connection.
I think this is the deeper Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Okay. He is talking to Brian.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So if me ending this video cuts you guys off, MK Peter Pan, email support@speedify.com. Tell them you've been talking to Brian, and continue the conversation from there. Brian can jump into support and answer emails, even though he isn't the normal guy. He has access. So, all right. So do send another one saying that, you're MK Peter Pan from YouTube, because we might not be connecting the dots here. All right. Thanks, everybody. This has been fun. Check out our YouTube. We got a bunch of videos, and we'll see you all online. Thanks, guys.